muted. It was muted that whole time. It wasn't even. I've been doing a 5-minute recap show here for the janitors, pretty much, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna get good at this eventually. So let's restart. Because I've just been yapping, and no one's been hearing me. Welcome in again to the Sactown Sports Kings recap show. I'm definitely gonna start again. That's on me. Welcome in again to the Sacramento Sports Kings recap show. Coming to you after the Sacramento Kings beat the Washington Wizards, who moved to 4-20 on the season. The Kings now have their best start since 2004, 2005. I'm not good at math, but that's something like 20 years. The Kings have the best start to a season through 25 games that they've had since the 04-05 season. And we know those were the good times. So anytime the Kings kind of are breaking records that they had back in those days, things are going really well. And I think all things considered, when you factor in the fact that, this team hasn't had De'Aaron Fox for 6 of those games, Keegan Murray has been up and down and, is really definitely starting to find his shot now. But he's had an up and down season. And Kevin Huerter has had an up and down season, and Harrison Barnes has had an up and down season. All those things considered, the fact that the Kings are off to a better start than they have had in the past 20 years, that just tells you the talent that's on this roster right here, right now. And, there's a lot of talk about, Zach LaVine and OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam and all those names that the Kings can go and try and attack in the trade market. But when you start better than you have in that many years, and I think we would all kind of collectively agree that this hasn't been the most ideal start. Like, I think the Kings definitely have another level to go to, and maybe it feels like they're starting to kind of ease into that right now. But it just kind of makes you wonder if maybe it's a little early to think about blowing this thing up. I know there's some individual pieces that maybe you feel like might not be pulling their weight all the way, but I think the important thing is that this collection of guys is getting the job done. And, that really is all that matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if Kevin Huerter has 5 points and Harrison Barnes has 25 points. As long as they're getting the result at the end of the day, I think sometimes we do kind of get lost in the nitty gritty of everything. And, it's not saying this team is perfect. They're far from perfect. I'm not saying there's no adjustments that need to be made. They definitely need to bring in some better wing help. But, man, you got something good here. You got a good foundation here. And the last thing you want to do is tinker with it. And it might seem like a small thing that you're tinkering with, but these basketball teams, I always say, are like a Jenga stack. Sometimes you take one little piece out and the whole thing completely crumbles. It's not always just one for one. Every team is kind of built in its own little unique ecosystem, and sometimes one little change to that ecosystem can throw the entire thing off. And that's why it's so important that if you are going to make a move, there's a lot of reasons why you have to get it right, but again, you seemingly have something pretty good here, and it hasn't been pretty good here in Sacramento for a really long time. You don't want to ruin it just because you get a little bit too impatient and want to make a move, maybe a little bit before you should. So I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but definitely just something to consider when you factor in and think about the fact that this team again is off to a really, really damn good start right now. I did not get a new mic cord. I did switch out microphones. I have 2 different microphones. So if you see this one that has this little piece of tape here, that means that I'm using different microphones. So shout out to everybody my mic problems are well caught. Today was definitely something new. Definitely, I've never just straight had the mute button selected. I promise you, it is not. It's not an equipment issue today. It was an operator issue. Let's see here. What else was I'm trying to think if there's anything that I talked about while I was on mute that I didn't get to. Jordan Poole had himself a decent little night tonight for sure. He tried to make it a close one, but that's kind of how every Washington game has gone I looked and 143 might sound like a lot to score, and it is. That's by the way, I have it in the call there. The Kings set a new season high when it comes to points, but this is pretty new or pretty usual, I should say, actually, for the Washington Wizards. It's now the sixth time this season that the Wizards have allowed 140 plus points to an opponent. This is really typical. They're one of the worst defensive teams. No, they are. They are the worst defensive team in the NBA. They allow 126 points per game, which is worst in the league, and it's not even close. So, I kind of knew or expected the Kings to put up a ton tonight, but 143 was even I was thought it was a good performance. Definitely could have been better. Could have been a little cleaner. Maybe you want to see the defense look a little bit better than, especially than it did down the stretch there. But for the most part, job was taken care of. Kings scored 46 points in that third quarter. Really, really can't complain about that. I wonder. I'm seeing audio's bad. It might just be quiet. There's a chance. Let's see here. Yeah, but anyway, let's see. Oh, my mic was bad as well. It was my mic was up on the webcam. I'm gonna get this thing right eventually, y'all. I promise. I'm actually tech savvy too. I don't know, something about these live streams, man. I just can't get it together. I don't know. I can't. It's really it's really tough to sit here and criticize this team when I don't even got my own stuff together, y'all. So again, it's got to be better. It just got to be better. I'm disappointed with myself, but shout out everybody for sticking through all of these audio issues. Definitely appreciate it. And I really shouldn't even call them audio issues. These are operator issues, and that's definitely my bad. So we'll try and lock this thing in. Definitely, I promise by the playoff stretch, I'll definitely get this thing rocking and rolling, and we'll be perfect one day. But yeah, how was everyone feeling about tonight? Who would you put as your? I think I have in the crawl there. I've got my stars laid out for tonight. I'm honestly a little bit conflicted on. I'm a little conflicted on whether or not I wanted to give De'Aaron Fox those 2 stars tonight. Keegan got hot in that fourth quarter. Didn't really feel right to give it to him, though. Again, that fourth quarter was starting to feel a little reminiscent of Saturday. So I wanted to give Keegan 2 stars, but just couldn't do it. I really thought Harrison played a good game tonight. He was aggressive. This is, I think, the Harrison Barnes that a version of the Harrison Barnes that I want to see. I think too much. It's got to be one of the extremes with Harrison, where it's either a night like tonight where it feels like anytime he felt like he even liked the shot a little bit, he was putting it up, or it's like the dude is taking 4 shots in a game, and it feels like he kind of needs to find a little bit better of a balance, a consistent balance, because he's able to help this team. I mean, you see tonight, he was there for strictly buckets. HB got 19 points, no rebounds, no assists. It was all straight buckets for HB tonight. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with him being that aggressive, especially when someone like me, I complain about exactly that all the time. So when he's going to give a performance like tonight, I can't criticize him at all. I thought he played great. And, I would love to see more of this out of HB. I really liked the shots that he took, open threes. Was attacking the rim, I thought, really strong. I really enjoyed this HB performance, and I definitely didn't want this to just kind of go by the wayside and say, oh, yeah, HB contributed tonight. I really like the way he played tonight, and I would love to, and I did. I rewarded him with a star, because I definitely think he was one of the biggest impact players for the Kings tonight. So shout out HB. I can't be critical of him when I am, and not shout out on a night like tonight. Good for him, really, really good for him, because you just know in general he hears the talk, and this is now 2 straight games. I don't know if anyone looked at any of the stats from Saturday besides Keegan Murray's 47, but HB had 16 of his own
on Saturday. So this is now back-to-back performances where HB has put up over 15 points, and I'm loving that. If HB can give the Kings 14 plus on any night, I'm taking that and I'm loving it. So 19 tonight, absolutely taking that, and that's why I got to give HB a star for tonight. Let's see here. Kings really dominated in the post tonight. That to me, I mean, not necessarily in the post though. We can talk about that as well, but just in the paint in general, the Wizards are a jump shooting team. They have no real center. They have Daniel Gafford, who I'm actually a really big fan of. Kind of honestly plays like a younger JaVale McGee, or a young JaVale McGee, even at that. But besides him, they were running Mike Muscala, who's a stretch four, and in a stretch four that I didn't know was still in the NBA at this point. He was their backup center. And so, a lot of their points were Jordan Poole jumpers, Kyle Kuzma jumpers. Not a lot of action inside the restricted area. The Kings, I think, doubled their points in the paint. And there were so many easy buckets for Sacramento, and I thought that's really when they were really rolling in that third quarter and kind of to start the fourth a little bit. That's when they were at their best. Was just they were attacking the rim, and the Wizards had no answer for them whatsoever. And talking about the post specifically, as I look at it, points in the paint, Kings beat them 64-46, which is just absolute domination, especially when you consider the Kings really didn't attack the paint at all in that fourth quarter. Only scored 10 points in the paint in that fourth quarter. So most of that work happened in the first three. And that was really the story of tonight. Again, just tons of easy baskets at the rim. De'Aaron was great. Domas just threw his weight around. They had no answer for him at all. You see me giving him the 3 stars tonight. Really just a good performance. And then specifically to talk about the post-ups, pretty much that entire third quarter where, again, the Kings scored 46 points in that third quarter. They kept doing the same play over and over and over again, and I didn't realize it until the second or third time they did it to get Harrison Barnes just an easy post up on Tyus Jones. They would run what's called I don't know how much I should dumb this down. I'm just going to dumb it down as much as possible. They would run an empty side pick and roll, which is essentially, Sabonis will, let's just make it easy and say De'Aaron's on the right side. Sabonis will set a screen for him. There'll be nobody. It'll just be De'Aaron and Domas on that side of the floor. They'll run a pick and roll, pick and pop. Actually, it'll get Sabonis up top. HB will have his man down low. He'll switch with De'Aaron's guy. That'll get the point guard onto HB, and really, it's a matter of, okay, De'Aaron now has a big man matched up on him. He can take him one-on-one. Sabonis should now have Harrison's guy on him. He can back him down. Or Harrison, which is where they went to a lot of the time, Harrison twice, and then different times. Dump it down to those guys in the post. They'll have a guard on him. And HB had easy layups twice where he just sealed his guy off. I think Keegan had a turnaround jumper and a post move that I want to say drew a foul, but they went to that over and over and over again, and the Wizards had no answer because, again, they're not really a defensive-minded team at all. Jordan Poole had one of the laziest defensive possessions I've seen in a while. I'm pretty sure everyone else saw it too. I think it was in the second quarter. De'Aaron had a I wouldn't really call it a fast break. It ended up looking like a fast break, but De'Aaron brings the ball down. Jordan Poole's just sitting in the paint above the charge circle, stands out, has his arms out, and doesn't move his feet at all. Lets De'Aaron just kind of Euro step glide by him and get an easy layup. They're a really bad defensive team. Really, really bad defensive team. And I was glad to see the Kings take advantage. Most importantly, I'm glad the Kings didn't blow this game because that would be just inexcusable. You can't lose to a team that's 21 heading into tonight, especially when, again, you had a chance to have the best start that you've had as a franchise in 20 years. Good on the Kings. for taking care of business, even though it felt like this is exactly what they should do. Sometimes those are the hardest games to kind of take care of, especially when you have an opponent like the Boston Celtics around the corner on Wednesday, where the Kings will play them on the Celtics will be on the second night of a back-to-back. They play in Golden State tomorrow, and then we'll fly to Sacramento that night to play the Kings the following day on Wednesday. Should be an interesting one. Kings have not fared well against the Boston Celtics in recent years. Actually, it's been really bad. They have just straight dominated the Kings for about as long as I can remember. And it's going to be a tough task. They're definitely one of those teams where you look up matchup wise, it makes a whole lot of sense for Boston to kill Sacramento because of the two Jays, Jalen and Jason. That's going to be really similar to Zion and Brandon Ingram and the struggles that the Kings had with the Clippers and Kawhi and Paul George. It's going to be interesting to see if the Kings can figure anything out when it comes to guarding two elite forwards because what we've seen all season long is just chalking it up as that's a matchup loss. That's a bad matchup for the Kings. We've seen how many times now that the Kings just have no answer for those kind of teams that are built in that fashion. So no excuses. Again, the Kings almost have the advantage, all the advantages. They're playing at home. Again, they have the rest advantage. And I'm sure they're also very aware that it's been a while since they've been able to take down the Celtics. So it's going to be a focused team and a really great opportunity for the Kings to start off this tough little stretch of games where they play Celtics on Wednesday, they play the Phoenix Suns on Friday, and then I believe the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday. That's a brutal stretch of games, but one where the Kings are really going to figure out like who they are and how good they can realistically be this season. Because if they beat the Celtics and let's say they beat the Timberwolves again, a lot of quality opponents that the Kings will have taken down this year. I tweeted it out the other day. We can see how the standings are looking to see if it's still 100% accurate of a tweet even today. I tweeted it out a couple days ago that the Kings were undefeated this season against the top 6 seeds in the Western Conference. That's no longer true. The Lakers have slipped down, but when you look at the quality wins, which is like an NCAA tournament stat, the Kings have quality wins against the Timberwolves. They have 2 wins against the Thunder. They beat the Nuggets. They beat the Mavericks, who are the 5 seed. The Kings, by the way, move up to the 4 seed nowadays. They have 2 wins against the Lakers as well, who have slid down to the 8 seed. But Kings have a lot of quality wins, and then you can throw on the Cleveland Cavaliers on top of that if you want to. You can throw the Brooklyn Nets on top of that if you want to. Brooklyn, I guess, has kind of slid back down to 500, but Kings have beaten some really quality opponents, and they have 3 more coming up next, which I cannot wait because, again, I really think this is going to be a good test to see exactly where this Kings team is at right now, as it feels like they're playing their best basketball. So that's going to be it for us tonight on the Sactown Sports Kings recap. Thank you so much to everybody who hopped in here. Appreciate y'all so much. Again, I'll just verbally do it since it's on the ticker right there. 1 star going to Harrison Barnes for his 19 points tonight. Just thought he played really well. Love to see the aggression out of HB. 2 stars going to De'Aaron Fox tonight. Did kind of feel like just your run-of-the-mill De'Aaron Fox game. The fact that he scores 28 now is actually technically below his average. So, can't up him too much. Can't give him too much praise when he's technically below average, even though it is still a ridiculous performance. So shout out De'Aaron. And then Mr. Triple-Double himself, Domantas Sabonis, having 28, 13, and 12 tonight. I think that's his 3rd or 4th triple-double on the season. He's been flirting with it as he does almost every single night. But tonight was just absolutely dominant. Just again, he's had, I would say, an up and down season. His downs haven't quite been as low as maybe some of the other guys on this team. But man, I mean, when he has a matchup that he feels confident in, he's gonna exploit it all night long, and he did not shy away from that Gafford matchup at all. He definitely did not shy away when Mike Muscala was away. Sometimes he can be a little bit passive, but again, when he feels confident that he has the matchup advantage, he goes to it over and over and over again. And it's really good to just have a guy who's hyper efficient in the post like that, like Sabonis is. So shout out Domas. He also got Keegan going towards the end of that game. So got to give him credit as he is a multiplier all the time. Y'all have a fantastic night. I'm so sorry about the audio issues. I promise I'll have them taken care of on Wednesday against the Celtics. I'll see y'all at the end of that one. Peace.